Last summer, I was in a rut. Work was draining, and I'd been cooped up in my apartment for weeks, so I started taking late-night walks to shake off the restlessness. My neighborhood is nothing special, suburban, quiet, with neat rows of houses and the occasional dog barking in the distance. It was around 1 a.m. in July, the air sticky and warm, when I decided to go for a stroll. I didn't think twice about it. I'd done it a dozen times before. But that night, something was different. I stepped out, locking the door behind me, and started down the street. The streetlights cast long, lazy shadows, and the hum of cicadas filled the air. My sneakers scuffed against the sidewalk as I headed toward the cul-de-sac at the end of the block, where the road loops around a small patch of woods. It's not much, just a cluster of trees and a dirt path kids used to cut through to the next street. I liked standing there sometimes, letting the quiet sink in. About 5 minutes in, I noticed the cicadas had stopped. It wasn't gradual, it was like someone flipped a switch. The silence was heavy, unnatural, like the air itself was holding its breath. I slowed my pace, glancing around. The street was empty, the houses dark. My phone was in my pocket, but I didn't reach for it. I told myself it was nothing, just my mind playing tricks. Then I heard it, a soft, rhythmic tapping, like someone knocking on wood, coming from the direction of the woods. It was faint, but deliberate, like a code. Tap. Tap tap. Pause. Tap. My stomach did a little flip, but I shook it off. Probably a branch caught in the wind, I thought, though the air was still. I kept walking, my eyes fixed on the cul-de-sac ahead. The tapping stopped when I reached the edge of the woods. I stood there, peering into the dark between the trees. The streetlight behind me flickered, just once, and I felt a prickle on the back of my neck. I turned to head back, but something made me stop, a shadow, just at the corner of my vision, moving along the edge of the cul-de-sac. It wasn't a person, not exactly. It was too tall, too thin, and it moved like it was gliding, not walking. My heart started pounding, but I couldn't look away. The shadow stopped, just beyond the streetlight's glow, and I swear it turned toward me. I couldn't see a face, just a vague, human-like shape that seemed to absorb the darkness around it. My mouth went dry, and I took a step back, my sneakers crunching on gravel. The tapping started again, faster now, coming from behind the trees, deeper in the woods. I don't know why I didn't run right then. Maybe I was too scared, or maybe part of me thought I was imagining it. I pulled out my phone, fumbling to turn on the flashlight. The beam cut through the dark, and for a moment, I thought I saw the shadow move closer, just a flicker, like it was testing me. The tapping grew louder, more insistent, and now it was coming from behind the trees, deeper in the woods. I backed away, my flashlight shaking in my hand. "Who's there?" I called, my voice cracking. No answer, just the tapping, now joined by a low hum, like someone breathing too close to a microphone. My skin crawled, and I turned to walk back, fast, keeping my flashlight trained on the ground. The shadow didn't follow, at least, I didn't see it, but the hum stayed with me, vibrating in my chest. Halfway home, I heard footsteps. Not mine. They were soft, uneven, like someone dragging their feet. I spun around, shining my light down the street. Nothing. Just the empty sidewalk and the flickering streetlight. But the footsteps kept going, closer now, like they were right behind me. I broke into a run, my breath ragged, my pulse hammering in my ears. The hum turned into a whisper, words I couldn't make out, curling around me like smoke. I reached my door, hands shaking so bad I dropped my keys twice before I got it open. I slammed it shut, locked it, and leaned against it, panting. The footsteps stopped. The whispering stopped. I stood there, listening, waiting for something, anything. But it was quiet again, too quiet. I didn't sleep that night. I kept every light on, checking the windows, the door. In the morning, I found something outside my house, right by the steps, a small pile of twigs, arranged in a perfect circle, like someone had left it there on purpose. I haven't walked at night since. Sometimes, when I'm lying in bed, I hear that tapping again, faint but clear, coming from somewhere just beyond my window. I don't look. I'm too afraid of what I might see. The next day, I tried to make sense of it. I asked my neighbor, Mrs. Callahan, if she heard anything strange that night. She's lived here forever, knows every creak and rumor in the neighborhood. Her face went pale when I mentioned the twigs. She told me about an old story, one I'd never heard before, about something that used to haunt the woods decades ago. Kids would dare each other to walk the dirt path at night, and some swore they saw a figure, tall, thin, with no face, that left circles of twigs as a warning. Most dismissed it as a legend, but Mrs. Callahan said her brother saw it once, back in the 70s. He never spoke about it after, just moved away and cut contact. I laughed it off, or tried to, but the unease stuck with me. I started noticing things, little things. The street light outside my house flickered every night, always at the same time, 1:03 a.m. I'd find more twigs, not always in a circle, sometimes just scattered on my porch. Once, I found a single twig inside, on my kitchen counter, though I'd locked every door and window. A week later, I worked up the nerve to go back to the cul-de-sac during the day. The woods looked harmless in the sunlight, just a tangle of trees and underbrush. I followed the dirt path, telling myself I was being ridiculous, but my hands were clammy. Deep in the woods, I found something that made my blood run cold, a clearing, hidden from the street, with dozens of twig circles arranged in a spiral. In the center was a flat stone, stained dark, like something had been spilled on it long ago. I didn't touch it. I didn't stay. I walked home, faster than I meant to, and started researching. Old town records mention missing kids in the 60s and 70s, always last seen near the woods. No bodies were ever found, just stories of strange noises and shadows. The report stopped after the town paved over part of the woods for the cul-de-sac, but I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was out there hadn't left. Now, I keep my curtains drawn at night. The tapping comes and goes, sometimes louder, sometimes so faint I think I'm imagining it. Last night, it was different. I heard it inside the house, coming from the hallway. I stayed in bed, covers pulled tight. Curtain closed. I haven't opened it yet. I don't know if I will.